Hello students, in the last lecture we have discussed regarding the discovery of electron, okay, and in that we have discussed about the discharge experiment, that is cathode ray experiments, okay, and we have given some points, given some properties of cathode ray. So what is this? These are properties of cathode rays. Properties of cathode rays. So cathode rays are indivisible rays, start from cathode and travels towards the anode. They are called as a cathode ray. Okay, as they are starting from the cathode. Cathode rays are traveling in the straight line. Okay, they are metal particles. They carry a negative charge. They produces heating effect. And on striking on the metal surface, they produces X-rays. So these are some properties of cathode rays, or what we call it as a electron. Okay. Now J.J. Thomson, what he did? Okay. J.J. Thomson tried to discover the charge to mass ratio of the electron, and for that purpose he used different cathode rays or different discharge tubes. Okay, and in the different discharge tube he used different gases. And what he observed, that whenever we use different metal electrodes, or if you uses different gases in this discharge tube, the J.J. Thomson observed that the charge to mass ratio for a cathode rays, for an electron, it is same. Whatever you use, you change the metals or you change the gas inside the tube, what the charge to mass ratio we are getting, that is same, and the charge to mass ratio for this cathode rays or electron is 1.76 into 10 raised to 8 coulomb per gram. Coulomb per gram. This ratio he observed. So the cathode rays, what they are? They are the fundamental particles of matter. Or the nature of cathode rays is independent of the metal which is used for making cathode, or the gas independent of nature of gas present inside the tube. And that's why what we can say that these electrons or cathode rays are fundamental particles of matter, because their nature, their charge to mass ratio does not depend upon what type of metal you are using for cathode or which gas you are using for the experiment. It does not depend upon that, and that's why they are fundamental particles having charge to mass ratio 1.76 into 10 raised to 8 coulombs per gram. Further, this is discovered by who? This is by J.J. Thomson. So after this, Millikan, the scientist named as Millikan, what he did, his famous experiment, that is oil drop experiment. In that oil drop experiment, he found that the mass of electron, okay, sorry, the charge of electron, charge on electron. So in the Millikan oil drop experiment, by using that oil drop experiment, he successfully calculated the charge on electron, and the charge is 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 24 coulombs. Sorry, minus 90 coulombs. Okay, so J.J. Thomson discovered charge to mass ratio by what? By changing gas inside the tube, by changing the material for the making of cathode, and he observed the same charge to mass ratio, and that is 1.76 into 10 raised to 8. Millikan did his oil drop experiment, okay, and he find out the charge on electron, and what is the charge? 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Now by using this charge to mass ratio and charge on electron, we can easily calculate the mass of electron, that is m, by using E and E by m ratio. Okay, by using E and E by m ratio. So 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 19 divided by, so this is coulomb. Okay, and how much this is? 1.76 into 10 raised to 8 coulombs gram. So this will get cancelled, and what we are getting? We are getting 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 28 gram. So this is what? This is mass of an electron. This is what? This is mass of an electron. Now if we compare this mass of electron, okay, with the mass of hydrogen atom, okay, what we have observed that the mass of one electron is equal to 1 by 1837, 1 by 1837 of an atom of hydrogen. Okay, so from that we can say that, what we can say? We can say that by studying all these things, what we can say that electrons are fundamental particles of an atom or a matter. Okay, electrons are fundamental particles of matter which carries unique negative charge, and its mass is 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 28 gram. So these things we can write by studying the J.J. Thomson experiments, by studying the J.J. Thomson charge to mass ratio, by studying Millikan oil drop experiment, and his value for charge on electron. We can say that electron is a particle. It is a fundamental particle of a matter, okay, carrying a unit negative charge, and its mass is approximately equal to 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 28 gram. Okay, or you can write this gram into kilogram also. So this is 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. Okay, whatever you can write. Okay, in terms of gram or in terms of kilograms. Now these are electrons. So electrons can be generated, okay, in this discharge tube also. Otherwise we can generate the electron out of discharge tube. So origin of this electron, what we can say that the electrons can be obtained by heating metal filament very strongly. Whenever you heat metal filament very strongly, you will get the electron by exposing high active metals. Okay, so for example, sodium and potassium, these are very reactive metals. Whenever you expose these reactive metals to ultraviolet radiations, okay, ultraviolet light, UV light, you will get the electrons by exposing matter, any matter. Whenever any matter is exposed to X-ray, you will get the electron, and electrons are nothing but they can be obtained from the radioactive elements, okay, in the form of beta particles or beta rays. Okay, so this beta particle, beta rays are nothing but our electrons. Okay, so this is regarding the electrons. This is regarding the cathode rays. Okay, so now we will start the second point from this topic, okay, and that is something called discovery of proton or discovery of anode rays. Okay, discovery of anode rays, or which is also called as the canal rays. Okay, they are also called as the canal rays. So the discovery of proton, okay, this is done by Goldstein. This is done by Goldstein, and by using similar kind of experiments what we are doing in the discharge tube. So he did the similar kind of experiments in the discharge tube. Okay. So whenever we pass the high voltage electric current, like the cathode rays, okay, like a cathode rays, okay, Goldstein suggests that there is a chance of anode rays also. Why? Because if negatively charged particles, okay, they are traveling from cathode to anode, okay, say the positively charged particle, there is a chance of positively charged particles may transfer from anode to cathode, okay, but when Goldstein studies the entire properties of this proton or canal rays or anode rays, okay, he come to the conclusion that, okay, so we can write some of the properties of this cathode rays, anode rays or proton, okay, and what different we will discuss. First of all, anode rays are travel in straight line. So like cathode rays, anode rays also travels in a straight line. Okay, no problem over here. They are also material particles. Okay, they are material particles. So whenever we pass, whenever we keep those pinwheel in this, okay, the pinwheel is rotated. So what they are also a material particle, like electron. They are also material particles. Whenever we apply the electric field, okay, whenever we apply the electric field to this canal rays, to this cathode rays, anode rays, okay, it is observed that they are displaced, okay, or they get attracted towards the negative charge electron. Okay, from that what we can they are positively charged particles. So exactly opposite charge. Okay, so cathode rays carries negative charge, anode rays or canal rays, they carry the positive charge. Okay. Now Goldstein studied about this what charge to mass ratio of the proton. Okay, charge to mass ratio of the anode rays, and he observed that okay, the charge to mass ratio, the E by M value, okay, charge to mass ratio of anode rays depends upon the nature of gas used in the discharge tube. So he observed that the charge to mass ratio, unlike electrons, okay, the charge to mass ratio of a proton, it depends upon the nature of gas. So it is not independent. In case of electron, what we are saying, it is independent. Okay, so whatever type of gas you use, you will get the same ratio over there. But here, in case of proton, in case of anode rays, okay, the charge to mass ratio, that is this E by M, depends upon the nature of gas, which gas you are using. Depending upon that, you are getting this charge to mass ratio. Okay, then the value of charge, okay, the value of charge on the anode ray, okay, the value of charge on the anode ray also depends upon, okay, it depends upon nature of gas. So value of charge on anode rays is different for different gases. Okay. So what we are saying, this value is also depends upon the nature of gas. What is the value of that charge present on the anode ray? It also depends upon the nature of gas. Why? Because whenever you change the gas, you will get the different value for the charge. Okay, the mass of particle, okay, mass of the anode rays is also found. Okay, mass is also depends upon mass of anode ray also depends upon nature of gas. So what type of gas you are using, depending upon that you are getting the mass of anode rays. Okay, and it is observed that the smallest anode ray, okay, the smallest charge and the smallest mass for an anode ray is observed whenever we use hydrogen inside, okay, hydrogen gas inside the cathode ray tube or discharge tube. Okay, whenever you are using this H2, that is hydrogen gas, you will get the smallest value of charge also. Okay, you are getting the smallest value for mass of a canal rays or anode rays, and that's why. Okay, so what we are writing 7 point. These smallest particle is observed when hydrogen gas is used. Okay, and that's fine. Okay, so whenever we are using this hydrogen gas, we are getting the smallest particle of anode ray. We are getting the smallest particle of anode ray, and therefore anode rays are called proton. They are called as a proton. Okay, so the name proton is given. Why? Because hydrogen gas, whenever we use, okay, we are getting the what? Smallest particle. And now whenever we are using hydrogen gas, whenever we are getting the smallest particle, okay, and at that time, okay, when we observe the charge on that anode ray, okay, charge on the rays, it is observed that charge is exactly equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs. Okay, but positive. But it is positive. So this proton carries a positive charge, which is exactly equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Okay, this is nothing but the charge present on the electron. So both inside the atom, what we are saying that, okay, the oppositely charged particles are present, which carries equal magnitude of charge, but with opposite sign. Okay, with opposite sign. And whenever we calculate the charge to mass ratio for the hydrogen gas, okay, the smallest particle, what we are getting that, okay, so mass is equal to 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 19 divided by 9.58 into 10 raised to 4, and this mass will become 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 24 gram. Okay, or you can write 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. So this is the mass of an proton. Okay, this is mass of an proton. So when we are going to call it as proton, whenever we are using hydrogen gas inside the discharge tube, okay, at that time we are getting the smallest particle. Okay, for that particular particle, the value of charge is also small. Okay, the value of mass is also small, and the charge to mass ratio what we are getting for the hydrogen gas, that is 9.58 into 10 raised to 4. Okay, 10 raised to 4 coulombs per gram. Okay, and from that what we have calculated, we have calculated the mass of a proton. Okay, mass of a proton, and the mass is 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 24 gram, or 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. So these are some properties of anode rays. Okay, these are some properties of proton. And who discovered this proton? Okay, Goldstein discovered the proton. Goldstein discovered the proton. So what we can write? Okay, we can write as electron carries negative charge, proton carries positive charge, and the charge is exactly equal on both cases but with opposite sign. Okay, so electron has mass 9.11 into 10 raised to 9.11 into 10 raised to 10 raised to minus 28 gram, while proton has a mass of 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 24 gram. So this is the difference between these two particles. The remaining part. Okay. So after these things, after the discovery of electron, and proton. Okay, scientists try to give the structure of atom, how the atom exactly is. Okay, why? Because now we know about the subatomic particles. Okay, the atom consists of electron and proton. This is clear. Okay, this is clear. And by considering these things, okay, some of the scientists try to give the structure, try to give the model for the atom. Okay, and these models we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.